What up? Is you first?
Where does it feel like this team is at this year heading into the game against Maryland compared to where you guys were at last year?
I love where this team is at. I feel like we're definitely closer together. We're more of a tight knit group than we were last year. So I feel like that's the biggest part of it, and I feel like that's gonna be the biggest part of coming together this week, becoming 1-0.
Curtis, have you felt better in a Penn State uniform than you did last Saturday playing against Ohio State? It seemed like you really had a successful night, and how would you evaluate where you're at through the first 8 games as a starter?
I feel like I had a solid 8 games, but it's just playing in the framework as a team. My teammates did their job, I did my job, and you get shine when you do your job. So I'm happy for my teammates helping me out for that.
Curtis, I know being from Maryland, of course, we already know how big it is when you go and play against Maryland. You got teammates, former teammates from McDonough that play at Maryland. Coach Sule, he went to Maryland. How big is this game for you, and how much are you gonna enjoy playing against your old teammates?
It's definitely gonna be fun going home, seeing my family, seeing Trader, my boy Dante. So it's gonna be fun. But at the end of the day, it's just preparation, execution, and we gotta go 1-0. So.
You mentioned after the Ohio State game that there could be some challenges getting tickets for this week's game.
Yeah.
How much competition is there within the team, because there are some
Well,
Maryland guys?
I just know me personally, I got to get 10 for myself. And if we're going to have a tailgate, it's probably going to be 20 more people there. So I love my support base back in Maryland. It's crazy.
Curtis, what do you remember about your sophomore year back in McDonough when PJ and Devon were on the same line? And how have you seen those PJ influence Devon over the years?
Oh, he ain't just influenced Devon, he influenced me. PJ talked to me about stuff I'm doing as a linebacker. So I love those two guys. They've been big for me going back to my freshman year. They taught me how to stay confident when I was running all them comebacks, not getting the ball. So it's been great seeing those guys grow and develop.
How are you better now than you were at the beginning of the season? What have you kind of learned along the way?
Mainly, I tried to play fast and play confident. I felt like in the beginning, coming out of camp, I wasn't playing as confident. And confidence really, once you're confident in what you're doing and you're playing in a framework, that's how you're going to make plays.
What does it feel like to be on a good defense? Sorry.
What does it feel like to be on a good
What's
defense?
it feel like when you go out there and you know that everybody on the unit is going to do their job and play as well as you guys have?
It's definitely a good feeling. You can't take it for granted because it's not guaranteed that everybody's going to do their job every play. But it's great to have that trust in your brothers to know that if you need to spill and he's going to be there, he's going to be there. So I love that about this defense.
Curtis, your position, just personal opinion, I think is one of the hardest in football, where one play you're covering Garrett Wilson, the next you're taking on a tight end in the run game. What do you think about your position, and how does it feel in that situation?
It's just about execution and doing your job. I took on the challenge. That's why I came here. So I just feel like if I couldn't execute, I wouldn't be in. So it's just about confidence for real.
Curtis, when you were deciding, schools and everything, what gave you? What was the biggest thing when it came to choosing Penn State over, some local schools down there in Maryland?
I ain't gonna lie, it was hard. It was tough, but I ain't gonna lie, I love the environment here. It's great family oriented. That's the main part, is family oriented. I knew no matter what, they was gonna have my back here, so that was a big part.
What specifics need to be done in order to kind of slow down Maryland's offense and take Tagovailoa? I think I got that pronunciation right. I'll never learn it. But to slow him down and kind of eliminate some of their explosive plays.
It's just about playing in the framework and doing our job and execution. I feel like when this defense is doing our job and executing, and we don't have like any of the mental errors, any of the execution errors, I feel like we were one of the best in the country, and I feel like we've shown that.
From your perspective at linebacker, when you look at defensive tackle, how have you seen kind of Devon and Keziah come along as
Those guys have been big. I ain't gonna lie, those guys have been big. They definitely stepped up, and then with PJ going down, and I'm proud of them for real.
A lot of guys started at that field linebacker position and transitioned into the box. Do you see yourself eventually being that sort of player?
I want to learn all three. I want to be a sponge and learn as much as I can while I'm being here, just so that can translate to the next level. But it's mainly about doing my job for the team. So whatever coach wants me to play, that's what I'm gonna play.
What would you describe the personality of the linebackers? You, Brandon, Charlie, and Ellis. What would you describe the personality of you guys when you play?
It's definitely a lot of different personalities. Like, me personally, when I make tackles, I'll be laughing. So I don't know how that, like, what they do is different. So I love those guys. It's just tight knit group there for real.
Why do you laugh when you make tackles?
I don't know. It just be, I don't know. Like, say somebody's small, you be telling them they small, you laugh a little bit. I don't know.
Is that always been a thing?
Yeah, kind of. Back to McDonough days.
Curtis, I think back at McDonough, you described yourself a while back as a killer, but you said it took some time to get confidence at this level. Did it take a little while to feel like a killer again at linebacker playing in college?
Well, yeah. Well, in high school, I was doing that on the offensive side, so I don't know. I don't know, but yeah, it took a minute to adjust. I ain't gonna lie, it took a minute to adjust, but I'm happy that I adjusted. And it's just, like I said, the main thing is just confidence. I had to believe in myself before I could go out there and show it.
Curtis, I know you played basketball too in high school. You know, how much do you feel like that basketball footwork helped you out on the field too?
It definitely helped with my explosion, I feel. There's some movements where, like, you got to have certain football movements, so basketball movements kind of mess you up, such like speed turns and stuff. But I feel like it definitely, playing as many sports as a kid, it definitely helps you out.
Curtis, you talked about, just gaining that confidence. When you're, developing like you are right now, what does gaining confidence mean? Does that mean understanding scheme, making plays? Like, what does that mean to you?
It's just believing in yourself, believing you're gonna be where you need to be, believing you got this. Like, you can get in that gap, you can make that tackle. Like, and that was big for me because I'll tell you right now, honestly, last year I didn't really believe in myself. I wasn't really confident in my decisions while I was playing. So I feel like now that's really helped me, and that's why I'm taking these big strides.
Was there a time where that clicked for you?
I couldn't tell you the exact moment, but it just came from preparation, watching film, knowing what I'm seeing, like knowing the looks, and that pretty much helped me.
Were you surprised at kind of that you lost that confidence last year? I mean, were you kind of surprised that you weren't feeling that?
Yeah, everybody has that little freshman funk, but I wasn't really surprised. I just took it on the chin and, like a man, it just kept going for real.
Along those lines, what can you tell us about Budden and Kobe? We have not seen a whole lot of them, but how they've been making.
I feel like those guys are going to be big for us, and I've tried to mentor them, be what Jesse and Ellis were to me to them. Just make sure they know what they're supposed to, make sure they know what they're doing every play, make sure they're where they're supposed to be, and just make sure they're playing fast. That's all I can give them for real. And I've been proud of how they came out for real. I love those two guys.
As somebody who says you lost that confidence last year, how do you make sure that those guys don't lose that confidence?
You just gotta stay on them. You gotta make sure they don't forget the little things, and they do what they need to do to be prepared when it's their turn.
Curtis, there was the sequence against Ohio State where you had the offsides penalty and came back with 2 tackles for loss. Joey Porter chased someone down, Brisker chased down Henderson. Where does that kind of come from? Is that innate, that kind of ability to bounce back from those things? Does that come from the coaches? Where is that kind of personality?
It's just that next play mentality. I couldn't just sit there and assault just because I jumped off sides. I gotta just get to the next play, and hopefully I can make a play. Because if you let that get in your head, that's how plays fluster, and that's how you get blown out.
Couple more guys. Who do you look at? Who do you watch when you look at other linebackers, and kind of who do you model your game after?
It's hard not to watch Micah right now. I ain't gonna lie. He's killing. So that's probably one of the main guys. Being that I came here, there's a couple more NFL guys. What's that guy's name on the Colts? I thought he was pretty good too.
Darius Leonard?
Yeah, he's pretty. I watch a whole bunch of those guys. So this just watching film, just trying to see how they can elevate my game.
We're going to jump on the Micah thing here, of course. He was in your ear during camp a couple summers ago when you were in high school. I mean, has he stayed in touch at all? I know you didn't really spend time on the same team.
No, that's my dog. That's my dog.
Yeah, well, then I'd love to hear about it.
Well,
I mean, you never know if guys stay in touch.
Yeah, so Micah, it's hard. He got that busy schedule, but he always checks in on me. After this last game, he told me I played great. He said he was proud of me. So, yeah, it's great with Micah. Hopefully, I can go see him while he's working out this summer.
Cool. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank y'all.